Welcome to another segment of C.R.P.H.A. Humanitarian Advocate. Today's topic is on safety, be that, of course, motorcycle safety. Motorcycle safety is very important. We just got a letter about a day ago that stated that this one particular person in the state of California saw a child at the age of what looked to be around 5 years of age riding the back of a motorbike. Be that, of course, it could have been with the uncle, father, stepfather, friend of the family, or possibly a nephew or cousin, possibly whichever the case may be. A child, even from the age of 2 through 17 and 18, should not be riding the back of a bike, even the front of a bike, of a motorbike, that is. Because, one, the weight of a person is different per person, granted, yes, but the one thing is also that many of which many of the parents should know that it's a big no-no, because even if they do feel, if you do feel like they're holding on tight to their as much as they can, doesn't mean even with the slightest turn, lean of the bike, essentially, that that they won't slide off. There's no guarantee of that, and there's no guarantee that they would be able to know how to better balance themselves on a bike, even if they've been on the bike for the first time. Um, with that too is that say from the age of 4, 5, 3 on up, um, you could be risking their life. And say, for example, if you were to do that particular thing and they slide right off, or they get bumped right off after you hit a pothole, whatnot, um, then then basically you may not know it until you get to a stoplight or a stop sign or at a intersection that you need to slow down or yield at, and you may not, at the same time, you may notice that you may not see their hands or feel anything, right? Which means they could be several miles down there, injured or smacked by one of the vehicles that was behind you. We are going to put out that anybody who um, uh, sees this, to write down the name of the bike if you can, the type of the bike if you can, the license plate numbers and letters, and also the state of the license plate. Be that, of course, if it's like California, New Hampshire, the whole enchilada like that. Um, and then contact your law enforcement, contact your local child support and child protective service office. Thereby also contact your state male and female legislator and senator, even your governor, again, male or female. And also contact your safety commission within your state and province as well. Be that, when I say province, I mean this is also including for those in Canada, and Mexico, and do not. I know you may not want anything to happen to the child by the child being taken away from the particular parents in question, whoever they may be, even if you do or do not know them, or even if you do not know where they live and everything. But believe me, once they get the license plate, they'll be able to find out without issue through the DMV. And with that, you could be easily saving a person's life, because even if you were to yell out saying, telling the adult or older person in the front driving the bike, he may tell you to shut up and fuck off or whatever the hell else. Um, um, and yet it's better to, if you see it, write down the license plate number again, if they're wearing helmets or not, and what type of bike it is, if you can, and even if you know the name of the name brand of the bike, motorbike that is, and thereby thereby you could tell them exactly what time you saw it, and be sure to write that down as well, and what day and what date and whereabouts, in what intersections, and like cross streets like that, or even highways or freeways for that matter. And believe me, they will be right on it, without question. But of course, I know the law enforcement may only be able to do so much. The one thing of it is that the law enforcement, if the law enforcement saw some sort of like saw and or felt there was some sort of like, shall we say, mistreatment or danger to the child, then yeah, they will take extra steps. Granted, yes, but if they don't see any of that and yet they don't know what else to do, then of course they only can do so much by warning them, being one of them, right? So basically, if you were to contact these child protective services and your name, believe me, your name can be completely, shall we say, not even mentioned. It can be confidential between you and CPS, essentially. Those parents who have young children and know that you have allowed your young child, from say 3 to 5 to 18 on your friends or husbands or your bike, motorbike, you could be more than cited, thereby your child can be put into foster care. It doesn't matter what age. Although it is said that in foster care that children are not really wanted at that age, and thereby the system essentially takes them out. But I'd say it will have to change, because it has to do with the child's safety, to keep them, with a roof over their heads while they're still getting education until they're able to be out on their own. And each part of this needs to be more than aware for and to the state governors across the United States and in Canada, and in the provinces of Canada, anyways, I should say, in Mexico, and also for the governors and mayors of each state, city, and county, and the provinces of Canada as well, in Mexico. And also, thereby there has to be a law to where the, there is to be no child below the age of 19 and 20 to be allowed on the motorbikes, be that even on freeways and highways, city, state, and county, highways and freeways and whatnot. And there's obviously and from what we read, is that according to the particular person in question that wrote us the letter, here at C.R.P.H.A. Humanitarian Advocate, is that the person said that there was, said that there was a couple of states like Hawaii, California, and Washington. She didn't say if it was Washington D.C. or Washington State, but she did say Washington. But who's to say which one? Um, but nonetheless, they allow the child to be in the back of the bike from the age of 5 on up, and that should be changed right away. Because picture for those who ride motorbikes, picture this. All right, you have the child about between 3, 4, 5 on up to about 18, and it's like maybe first or second time, or however many times they've been on the bike, on the back of the bike, or even in the front of the bike with you, right? And then suddenly you make that one slight turn, and you don't even notice that they may have slid off, either from behind you or in front of you, and you're focused on the roadway, which basically you should be, but at the same time you should be also focused on them. Make sure that you know that they're still there with you, right? Because the motorbikes are not sanctioned essentially to where they have to have seatbelts or anything for many reasons, of course, granted. but but nonetheless, is that the seats, even leather seats, can be where it doesn't matter if they're. I mean, they could be trying to keep their weight balanced to where they stay on the seat as much as they can, but a person only can do so much, right? So basically, they can't just like, and then that would offset the bike balance, right? And so basically, that's why we are pushing. We are going to push to make sure that the laws are changed to where no child from 3, 4, 5, and up to 18 are allowed on the bikes, on motorbikes, even on the back of the bikes, till the age of 19 and 20 years of age, um, even with helmet. And we will make sure that those ages will also have helmets along with the driver of the motorbike. And also, if anybody is caught, it's not going to be where if you're caught for the first time, like with many states, if you're caught we're talking on the cell phone while driving, they only give you a citation, right? And then they take your license eventually, right? After maybe the third or fourth or whatever, however many times each one has a different lengthly various to that. But it will be an automatic. Child safety is more important than a stupid cell phone. Your the basic fact is the law enforcement can make it more stricter, much more stricter than they have with cell phones. By if you're caught, say the third time with a cell phone while driving, they can take the cell phone and you'd have to get a whole new one, even through the state itself. But at the same time, it would have a chip in there. If you're driving while talking, it would cut the conversation off. There's ways to do that too, until such time that you're not driving and you're not behind the wheel. I mean, you'd be able to go on the phone while walking, but that's as far as it would go. But if you're behind the wheel, and there's a sensor device that senses the engine on, and the movement of the vehicle as well, that conversation between you and whoever could be cut right off. The ways of technology, go figure. But the basic fact is that can happen. But this one is towards motorcycle safety. That was just a general example on that one. But the aspect of it is that the human life is not as simply put into that technological aspect. So therefore, the one thing we can have happen is make sure that nobody from the ages up from 3, 4, 5 on up to to 18 are not allowed on the back of the bike or even the front of the bike. Only the ages from 19 to 20, and you cannot lie about the child's birth date either. And because they can easily check the hospital records, even through the child's identification card, that's put through the state and through the DMV. So basically, you're sneaky on that one, aren't you? So again, do not allow anybody, and I mean anybody by the ages of a single digit between 3, 4, 5 on up until about 1920 on the backs or fronts of the motorbikes. And always have helmets on, but those ages are more than prohibited in the sense of not being allowed to ride the front or back of the bikes for safety reasons. And if you're having a problem with this, then basically and this is not a judgment, that just shows that you don't really care about human life, not even your own. The basic fact is we are a very caring advocacy business here, that we do care about human life, even in the spiritual sense. So, and we're not judging anybody. We're not assuming or accusing anybody at all. We're just putting out the fact that that the age bracket that we say between 19 and 20 are much more feasible, much more logical to have in the front and back of the bikes, because they're better able to, and more than aware to, able to have a better balance even while turning on and needing to lean at a certain distance, right? The younger ones are not that well balanced. Mm-mm. Even when you're going down on a off and onto a freeway, same thing. Even if you're making a slight tight turn due to the slight top speed you're going, or be that, of course, at the same time of what speed you have to go in order to keep up with the traffic. Be that, of course, as you go along with the flow of traffic. It doesn't matter where you're at. And I can say that whoever takes heed of this and knows that we are more than concerned about your child's and your safety, especially on motorbikes, as well as many other things, you will understand why we put this video out. And we got to thank the person who wrote the letter to us, and we understand your concern. This is C.R.P.H.A, Humanitarian Advocate. We thank you for your time, and we hope you have a good day, and please stay safe. Please stay alive. We salute the troops that have served this country and have protected our country from the World War I to on up to even current. And we thank the veterans for serving, for their service essentially, and then also we also thank the ones that are currently serving our country in the sense of keeping our country and the American people safe. And we also salute Donald J. Trump, our current president of the United States. And we also ask that if you want to have a better future for not only yourself, also when it comes to the employment aspect as well as education aspect for our youth in the U.S. and in Canada and Mexico and whatnot, that and you want more and more jobs, and you don't want the unemployment to be going in a higher percentage. You want and if you want the unemployment to go on a very very low percentage continuously, and you want there to be more employment in your state, city, and county, then we need to do one thing, including to help our youth and our youth beyond our own children, and be that also our grandchildren to have it to where Trump is in office in 2020 to start with. He will make sure that there's continuously more jobs, more employment, and a better. He will make sure that there's a better education for where our youth can build up to a better future, and we can also have a better future for ourselves as we stay employed. Because the more time, we have, the more we have employment, the better we will be able to survive even in this fast-paced world and the economy situations, and even if it does kind of scale down for at a certain point and for various reasons. Thereby, we can still help by making by making the economy stay strong and balanced, like Trump has done so far. And we can help him and support Trump in the sense of making sure that there's more employment and for everybody, including our older teenage children, as well as our children in their 20s. And and with that, also, it would also be able to hopefully get the governors of every state and city and county to get more in on low income housing, especially with a high cost of the housing and renting situations and percentages it is getting ridiculous. That needs to be taken care of, and I know that Trump can take care of that as well. But of course, I know the liberal Democrat Gavin Newsom, that used to be a moderate Republican, doesn't seem to give a rat's patoot. Show me different, Gavin. Prove me wrong on that. Get more low income housing in all parts of California, every part, including Sacramento. And ready? We thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. This is C.R.P.H.A, Humanitarian Advocate. Have a good day.